No, we crossed the line and we had that on ORC, we in second place, and then on handicap we in third place. And then we were like, wow, this is something else. We started celebrating.
I mean, how many crew members? 5 including you or 6 including you?
5 including me. And I mean, like, we look around that, guys, this is our first Rio and we're in the podium. We know skippers around here have been doing this for decades, and the dream is to win a podium, and we did it in one trial and win a podium.
How did you celebrate?
I do drink. I do drink, that's what I can say.
Shift Happens with Richard Sutton, powered by First Light.
Welcome to the Shift Happens podcast with me, Richard Sutton. Here we speak to people who have navigated extraordinary pressure, adversity and change. Moments that tested them, transformed them, and ultimately shaped who they became. Join me as we explore what made their shift happen. On the podcast, we meet the winner of the Cape to Rio in 2025. A man rewriting who gets to belong in sailing. A story that is not really about sailing, but about possibility. In the session, we go deep with Sibusiso, Sizatu. January 2026. You've just won the Cape to Rio. You're on the way back home, 3 of you, middle of the night. You're heading for your watch, mast collapses. What leaves your body at that moment, seeing the mast collapse?
So when it started happening, we had a big storm. Not a storm, it's like a squall rain that came through. It was about 43 knots of gust wind that went through. And then we went inside just to be in the shadow so that we can hide away from the rain. And then it was about 8 minutes. Then I came out after it passes through and just to get on the helm and start sailing again. It was within seconds when I was behind the helm, and then I saw the mast starting going over. To me, because the boat, it tilted over, like it heels over. So I thought the boat was heeling. But my mind was still a bit dead, like it wasn't awake enough to see that actually the boat is not moving, but the mast is moving. So I was looking at the top of the mast, and the mast was going slowly, and then I kept trying to balance the boat, but there was nothing happening with the hull of the boat. But it's just that illusion that I thought maybe the boat is falling over. The only time we realized when the mast smashed the water, that's when I realized actually we lost the mast. And at that time, it was just a moment of getting a bit shocked, like unbelievable, like it's like unreal. Like,
how far are you from any land?
So from Rio, we are away about 1,300 nautical miles, and we had 2,700 nautical miles to go still to Cape Town.
So basically in the middle of the South Atlantic, and the mast goes.
Yeah, so we were quite lucky because we're just outside of the shipping channel, because it could have happened anywhere in the middle of the ocean whereby you can't see any ship coming through, or for days you won't find anything. So where we were lucky enough that we had a handheld radio that was functioning properly. So we're able to communicate, and then nowadays we have WhatsApp that can work on. It's not like in olden days where you have a GPS phone. So now we have a Starlink that came very handful because we could just WhatsApp and make a WhatsApp call to get help.
But terrifying. Or you calm?
At the moment like that, to be honest, like when we went through trainings like that for the last 15 years, every year we do a training about those kind of situations. You know, when you're in training, it does sound very dramatic, does sound very scary. But when you're in the situation, being scared is not the situation. It's not the plan. You just have to be calm down and try to minimize the damages on the boat, because the last thing we wanted at that time is for the mast to poke the boat, because that's the only hope to survive, to be on the boat, not outside the boat. So when the mast collapsed, we're like, okay, let's calm down, not to rush things, start cutting stuff that's gonna fall overboard and make a hole to the boat. Just calm down and look at the situation, which it took us about 2.5 hours. Normally it took us maybe an hour, but we had to be more careful on what's happening. Also, the swells, how they're working. If we push the mast over, won't the boat go against it or go away from the boat? So when it fell over, there was no panic from my side. We had one lady, she was really scared on the boat. It's in a situation whereby when you have someone that's scared on the boat, where you have to actually, before you do anything, try to calm that person down, because that person can do anything, just trying to survive, not because she wanna quickly cut stuff, but she's trying to survive as well. She don't see the situation you're in at that moment, that you wanna actually make things slower so that you can see any mistake that can happen.
So you run straight to the default, and the default is manage the person and then the situation.
Correct.
And then you have this very terrifying experience, but you fall to the level of your training. In your training, you've simulated this countless times. Did you know you were going to lose your boat?
No, it was the last thing on our list, because the boat had a very strong mast. It was a very strong mast. The mast that you will never think that, even the way it's rigged, you will never think it would break. And then even at the place where it broke, it's an unusual place, because it normally broke. Most mast breakages, they are like halfway up or just above the boom level or the kicker level, but that was like right above the deck. So till today, we've been trying to figure out what happened exactly, because there was no kind of a force where there was a bend or something because of the wind. It just snapped and went over.
So here you're reconciling two totally different realities. One, you just won one of the toughest races in the world, the Cape to Rio. And a few days later, you've lost your boat.
Well,
how do you live in those two worlds?
Well, they say after summer comes winter, you know. So, so we really enjoyed the summer, and winning the race is a historical thing. I've seen people doing the race. It's been a dream more of the academy youngsters to sail the race. Growing up, I was more of a dinghy sailor. I love more going around the cairns, sailing around the bay, go home, have a warm meal, get in a comfortable bed.
So in the environment we have least control over, you find your clarity.
Correct.
So profound. I want to go back. We're going to go back there, but I want to hear about your childhood. Take me back there.
Okay, so I'm just a young guy. Grew up in Eastern Cape, in a small village called Qumbu, between Matatiel and Mthatha. So growing up there, I was a guy that loved looking after the livestock, family livestock. From the age of 1 to the age of 6, I grew up with my grandmother on my mother's side. And then on the age of 7, I was introduced to my father's side and my father. That's when I moved across just the mountains that are separating the two villages. So that's when I moved to the other side, and there was more youngsters, more boys. On my mother's side, it's just me and my other brother, and then on my father's side, it's 10 boys. Because of this, there's this big family that's happening there, and there's a lot of activities happening. There's cattle, there's goats, there's sheep, there's everything
And that was your life? No school?
No school.
Just looking after the family cattle?
Yeah, so growing up, my grandmother tried to get me into school, but I didn't have a clinic card because I was born in a hut. My mother was in that kind of a person. She was quite a wild lady growing up, she liked having fun, all that stuff. I barely see her for weeks. So my grandmother was like the mother, who was always around. So when it was time for her to put me into school, it was difficult for her. That's when she decided, okay, let me take this young guy to his father. His father needs to sort out his life.
And his father, you were on the other side of the mountain at that stage?
Yes, correct.
Your dad?
Yeah, my dad's side. So when I got there, he also tried. His brother tried because he was here in the Western Cape, and his brothers were there in the Eastern Cape. And they tried to put me in school, and the old guys, they just do it once, they don't want to do it twice, and if they get rejected, that's it. But at that time, I had no worries, nothing, even stressing about going to school. I just enjoyed the life that I'm doing. I didn't even, that thing of saying, I have to go to school, I have to do that and stuff like that. That was the least of my worries because I was young as well. So when I was turning 9 years old, when my grandmother passed away, that's when my old man came back to the Eastern Cape. And then it's the first time to saw him actually also. They look very alike with his brother, so I couldn't see the difference. And then at that time, that's when he said, okay, because he was married and I was the bastard son, so it was quite difficult for him to introduce like an old man, like a 9-year-old already, to his wife. But he was brave enough to do that. And then the next thing, his wife actually did accept me to be part of the family. Then I moved to the Western Cape at the age of 9. That's when I started moving to this side.
Around the Fishhook area?
Yeah. First time on the bus as well. I've never been on a car or anything. First time being out of the village as well, like going out in the city.
And like, I mean, it's so extreme. You living in this very protected environment. You have, your caregiver passes away, your primary caregiver. You're spending time with a family that you're only getting to know. Your father then enters your life, and he's got his own family. There's this acceptance, and then within, whether it's months or within a certain period of time, everything changes.
Yeah, also I was saying like it's a miracle. Like like even today when I sit at home and it's like, Sibu, how did you do it? Like who are these people who are helping you around you? Like how did they come into your life? I'm still trying to figure out answers. How did it go that way? Because it's really like like when you're watching a movie, like my life feels like it's a series of a movie. Because I moved to the Western Cape.
Yeah.
Then I started school at the age of 10 years.
Now, how did you start school without documentation?
So my father, as soon as I came to the Western Cape, and then he went to the Home Affairs, same story, they need my clinic card, or they need my mother to be present in order for me to do my my birth certificate, so she can prove that I'm her child. But it was difficult to reach her. And then 2007, she passed away. That's when my father was like, okay, that's it, I don't know what to do anymore. When I went to school in 2003, we spoke to the principal of the school. So the deal was to actually keep me in school, just to keep me so I can keep my mind busy until I sort out my stuff. And I was that old kid at the back of the class on the bench there. And my grade 1 teacher was like, okay, this guy is quite smart. I caught up very easy on most of the stuff. And then he was like, okay, this guy's been here. I started around April, May. Around this time, that's when I went to school actually, because the January till that time was trying to sort out.
So your first time you went to school was at 10?
Yeah.
And you've got all these kids who've been there since 5.
Correct.
Going through the syllabuses and kind of meeting the standards and criteria, and you enter the back of the class. How do you feel? How do you feel about yourself and where your life's going as a 10-year-old, kind of not conforming to the system, so to speak?
No, what happened is when I first came into the class and I saw all these short youngsters, and I was the tallest guy. At some point I felt a bit okay, because I didn't know their ages, I was like, okay, I don't know their ages and they don't know what my age as well. I don't know if beard to show I'm old and stuff. And when when it's break time, I will see guys that I know in a township, like I play with around my area. Then I'll play with them. And then at that time, I didn't even know that I'm in a different class to them. To me, I'm just in school. That's it. So then we'll separate. They'll go maybe to grade 3 and I'll go to my grade 1. And I think about a couple of months, I started realizing actually I'm in a lower grade. And that's when I started knowing how to read and how to write as well. And the way times I felt a bit bad about myself, and I felt like this is not okay. Like I need to go back to, at that point I wanted to go back to the Eastern Cape.
So no dream at that point as a 10-year-old,
no.
Just survival.
Just survival, that's it.
So, the thing is, and I talk from personal experience, is that in my life, there's been 1 or 2 people that have just changed the course of my life. Who was that person? Who was the person who changed your life at 10? Who was there to, a 10-year-old needs help. Who was there to help you?
So I went to school, and then I started doing school back and forth, playing soccer as well. Then at the age of 15, if I remember correctly, that's when actually things twisted around, because I had a very good friend of mine, and him and his mother, they were very like fond of me. Like his mom was like, like I was that guy that he loved me more than my friend. My friend was very jealous of that, and I didn't care that time. I was like, okay, that's it. She was like a mother to me when I came to the Western Cape. So when I was 15, she used to disappear after school. Like she used to disappear. I don't even know where he is. And then I used to play soccer with him. And then like for a year, and then
Your friend's mom now?
No, my friend.
Your friend used to disappear?
Yeah,
okay.
After school. He used to disappear. Like I don't have anyone to play with. And one time I asked him, like, where do you go after school? He said he goes to sailing in Salmon's Town. And I said, what is sailing? And he tried to explain to me. And then he says, a boat floating in the water. For me, I've never seen a boat before, like something floating and then nobody's looking at it, and then just made no sense at all. For me, it felt like it's lying. So I had to see it, and I got seasick all the way from the Eastern Cape. I got car sick on the way from Eastern Cape. So I've been vomiting in a bus the whole way. So when we came out after school and I saw this microbus outside, and I was like, we're going in that? He said, yes. I was like, nah, thank you. I'm not willing to be in a car now because I've experienced that. It's not a nice thing. Like when you get like car sick or seasick, you ask for God to take your life, So, so at that time, I was like, no, thank you. And then...
so just to pause you for a second. So you from 10 to 15, have you caught up? What grade are you in? Like, are you with kids your age, or are you still sitting a couple of years behind?
I'm still 4 years older than everyone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 15 years old, your friends disappearing to sailing. You had the opportunity, the microbus arrives, you're not going in the microbus. What happens next?
So it's the same day when I decided I'm not going on that. And for some reason, because they jump with the cutter back on the back of the van, and then the driver opened the van so that they can jump in. It was already full because it started Ocean View and then it come to us, and then it was only 7-8 spots. So I had to take 2-3 more guys at the back of the van. When you open, I saw some nachos there, some oranges and some apples. I'm like, oh, you didn't tell me there's food. So immediately, the driver actually said, apple will be good to eat before you go if you're getting car sick. Because when you eat something sweet, it helps you to stop it a bit. That's when I jumped in. Then I went to sailing in Salmon's Town.
So what is a program that's being run there?
It's a program. Yeah, there's a program that's called Vungu Vungu Foundation. That was found by a guy, Olympian sailor called Ian Ainsley. So he's the one who went to the township, like to look for youngsters that needs opportunities like that to go and sail. And at that time, I didn't even know it's a sport. I was looking at something that you just go out there and have fun. But 2005, when I started, I hated it. Like, I didn't love it at all.
First day, take us first day on the boat. You get on the boat, what does it feel like?
So funny thing is that I didn't even know a single word. That's my second language is English. A single word, even yes or no. I didn't know nothing. Like nothing. That was like blank. So I had my friend as a translator. So the white guy would be talking, my friend would be telling me in closer. And then so they put me into a boat, a small boat called the Onina. And then my friend told me, pull that. And then the boat started moving. And I started looking around because I don't see any engine, like why it's moving. And then I got a bit of a panic. My friend was explaining also, don't panic. I'll explain as we go. I was like, okay, you should have explained first, this sail is moving this boat. But anyway, I was on the boat and then I couldn't turn it around. Like I couldn't turn to come back around. And he said, pull the rudder, and it was meaning putting it towards me. And I pulled the whole thing out of the back because the instruction, I think, were not clear enough. Then there was no control. Then I jumped off the boat, swim ashore. And the other thing that...
You jumped off the boat?
Yeah.
How far on the bay was the boat?
So I think it was about 100, 200 meters away from the launching bay. So it wasn't that far. But the funny thing is that when you swim in a valve or in a dam in the Eastern Cape, sometimes you throw a stone to see how deep it is. And when you start swimming, as soon as your toes doesn't touch the ground, then you know, okay, this is my limit. You don't go any further. But now in the ocean, you can actually see how deep it is, and that's scary. So for me, that made me scared that, okay, there I could see how deep it is now. The the further I went away, it got deeper and deeper. That's when I jumped off the boat and I swim to the shore. And my friend Ati was trying to explain to me, and then he was furious because now the boat is going to the other side and it's going to crash into other boats. That time I didn't care.
It's a one-person boat.
Yeah. At that time I didn't care. I made my mind, that's it. I'm not coming back here. I was looking for the exit. I didn't even know how we entered the Navy base side. So I went to dress. And then as I go up, I bump into one of the guys there who were the chef at the school. And then he gave me some bread and I asked him which way to go home. And he directed me, okay, you go this way and this way, past the train station in Summerstown. Then off I started walking. While they were busy sailing, and I started walking home.
It's about a 3-hour walk, no?
No, by the time I got home, they were also getting home on the bus. So it took me quite a while to get home.
And what's going through your mind on the walk back?
On the walk back, I was like, that was scary. I almost lost my life. I almost drowned. And surely there's sharks there. So
I think there are a few sharks in False Bay. Just a couple.
Yeah, so that's it. I'm going back to soccer. I'm going to play soccer.
So the big question is, why did you go back?
So in 2 years, I stayed away.
So nothing for 2 years?
Yeah, playing soccer, go to school, play soccer. And then my friends, every time in school, we have to buy some certain books. You have to buy a new shirt, a new gray, new Toughies shoes. Toughies is a thing in the township, And my friends didn't have to worry. Even the mom didn't have to worry. And he said, no, there's something called credits at the school. Then you have to build that up. And then at a certain credits, you have to go. They will take you to the shop and buy this stuff at the right shop, and you buy this stuff. And then they had also this adventure where they do awesome travel. They were going to Spain, 2007. So I was like, geez, actually these guys, they're flying up and down. They doing all these things, and then they're getting school levies also. The foundation will help them if they're struggling. The parents are struggling with school levy. That time was pay after 3 months, 150, every 3 months. So they would just build their credits there at the foundation, and they'll pay for that. And then I was like, okay, I'm playing soccer, and there's if you look at the whole of South Africa, not just South Africa alone. If you look at it, you start from the Popo all the way to the Western Cape. You pass Soweto, Alexandra, all those places. You got Kaidicha, you got youngsters, black youngsters, they're looking at the same goal. Thousands and millions of youngsters. They want to be the next Dr. Kumalo, next Mark Fish, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. So I had to look and said, actually, what are the chances I'm going to make it here? I know even in my township, there were some really good saves.
And you're having this conversation at 17 years old?
With myself. I know in the township, there's some really good soccer players that I saw them going to Ajax Cape Town and they're back in the township. They didn't make it, but they were there for quite a couple of years. So what are the chances that I'm going to make it? What's so special about me? You know what, let me go try sailing. Let me go face my fear. So that's when in 2007...
that's a massive statement you just said. Let me go face my fear.
Yeah. So that's when in 2007, I was like, okay, on Saturday I was going to go. Then on that day, they were going away to Theovaterskloof to some event there. There was some event happening there. Then one of the guys, the crew that they were going to sail with, didn't pitch up for some reason. So I woke up, so I thought it was just a normal day for sailing. I was like, no, you have to go back home, get your clothes and get your sleeping bag or a blanket. We're going out to Theovaterskloof. So I ran home as quick as I can, get my clothes and get my blankets, told my stepmother, sorry guys, I'll see you guys on Monday. I'm going away with my friends. I said I would sleep at my friends, but I didn't even know. I couldn't even pronounce Theovaterskloof. So I was like, I'm going to sleep at my friend's house. And then she was like, okay, that's fine. I'll tell your dad. Then off I went. And I went to Theovaterskloof. And it was quite a small boat. Now this time around, I'm not driving. I'm a crew. So I got someone driving for me and explaining these things, pull that rope, pull that.
Do you speak English yet?
No, this guy, luckily he was also speaking closer, so I could understand. So he's a Sutton guy, but he could speak closer, so
Yeah.
I could understand. So he was explaining to me, okay, you do that and that. So I was learning as he was racing.
Yeah.
He was teaching someone. And he didn't do bad, actually. So we came third. So when we came third, was the Nationals, and Mera Nationals.
Nationals?
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
third.
Nationals. Yeah,
You
we
just
came third.
arrived. It's like, okay, let me do this week.
He was quite a good helm, actually. He was
Clearly,
quite good,
yeah.
And we got to the podium. And then we got called up. And then I just heard my name, that's it. I didn't even know what that white man was saying, but my name was there. So I'm going to go up. I saw my skipper standing up, and he tapped me on the shoulder and said, let's go. I was like, where are we going? I said, okay, let's go, get the prizes. And then we go up on the stage. I got some gloves, actually, some sailing boots. I was like, I've been playing soccer for some time. I've never got boots and gloves and stuff. Like, this is something.
But it's
you know?
also, you know, what you say that, and just to be recognized, just to be recognized that I've done something that's been appreciated and valued by other people.
Correct.
It's massive.
Correct. So that was quite amazing for me. And I was like, you know what, this is where I need to be. And now, you know what was nice in the this club? It's a big dam. So it reminded me, like, back at home, I'm used to this. Like, there's no fear here, I can do this. Even this boat can capsize or whatever, I could still swim ashore. So from there, that's when the whole journey started. I went back to Salmonstown, and I was like, okay, let me try again. But this time around, I want to go with someone. I don't want to touch that helm. I want to drive for at least a year or a couple of months. I want to go with someone, and then I want you to explain and drive for me, explain all these things. Then when I was on the boat started moving, and then this guy was explaining to me. It was like fascinating. Like, this sail, like, is this the engine of the boat? Like this small stick here is driving this big boat. Like, it's just the science behind it. I was like, okay, this is really amazing. I want to know. I'm getting triggered about this. I need to know more. Like, I need to dig deeper, dig a bit deeper to it. First of all, how does it float? Like, what's the, like, what do we put what and what together to make it float? This thing should be sinking. It's quite heavy, you know. So that's what drove me to actually get involved more. Like, it was more of trying to understand this sailing thing than. Even though I went to the Nationals and came back, still didn't know that it's a sport. Thought it's just a fun thing, you camping and then go do a fun thing, come back, you know. So from there, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this on. So that's where the whole journey started.
To become the curiosity becomes the passion, becomes the purpose.
Correct.
Quite an extraordinary journey. Now, I'm going to kind of fast forward a little bit. You selected for Worlds France, but you don't exist on paper.
Yeah, so what happens there is that, so out of the journey, my father, when he found out I'm doing sailing, it was a red flag. No, it was like a no, you're not doing sailing. He even bought me new soccer boots that to stay in soccer because it's in the ocean and there's sharks. And when he first said it, I got a bit scared also because how he delivered the news to me. I got a bit scared. And I was like, you know what? And then that's when I said my friends got this fun trip where they need to go to Spain. And I was skipping a lot of days on sailing so that they were not looking for a great sailor, this amazing sailor and stuff. They just wanted someone who's going to respect their time, be more consistent because you learn as you go. But if you have these pro sailors, they come when they want and then they also don't take you serious. So I will come, not come, so I tried to like hide it from my father. So the trick was go to school. This bus is coming at 2:45. So go to school. School is coming out at 2:30. Go to school. Straight after school, I was that first person to jump out of the door. When the bell rings, run home, quickly wash my shirt, put my books there, and run back up to the taxi rank and wait for the transport. I was always there at the same time as the transport arrived, or sometimes as they're about to close the door, and then I arrive. Almost every day. That was my routine every day. And then this one morning, the driver arrived a bit early because we do it on the weekends as well. The pickup was 9 o'clock. He arrived at 8, and he was like, you know what? Let me give him some bit of courtesy. You know, let me be kind today. You know, let me go pick them out house by house. And then he went to my friend's house, or the other guys around, and then I was the last person because I'm close to the other entrance of Masi. And the bus stood right in front of the gate, and my father was standing there, and it's got this big logos, Izivunguvugu Sailing School. And the guy can read, you know. So the guy, he stood there, and then he started hootering. I was like, jeez, that's the transport. What's it doing here? It shouldn't be here. And then he asked the driver, and the driver said, no, I'm here for Sibu. And then he asked me, what's happening? I said, I'm going sailing. And he said, okay, I'll deal with you later. And I knew what's going to happen later. This guy's going to beat me later. So I said, you know what? You want me to stay in the township here? I could go play soccer. Someone's going to break my leg. I could stay here in the township. A taxi can run me over. There's shooting happening every day in the township. I could be in a crossfire like anytime. Nobody plans to die. So I'm not going there to die. And I've been doing this for quite some time behind your back. And I'm enjoying it. So I don't know, like if you deal with me later, I hope you're gonna deal with me in a different way. And at that time, that's when he's like, okay, that's it. You go do your thing. And then he said, you know what's the nice thing? When you die out there, you'll be saving us a lot of money. Because when you die in the ocean, in our culture, you don't have to spend anything. That's it.
So how many years have you been sailing for?
So here's the thing that actually amazed everyone in the sailing school. So I got there within 6 months. I could beat guys that would be there for 2 years. I could compete with them. I remember this one time, there was a time because we do a mini league every Saturday, just among ourselves. Then I went out with RT, and I was helming this time around. I was the helm, because I was so patient to understand about it, and I end up saying, okay, I can tell, okay, doing that, close hole, that's that, you know. And even when I was at home, it was always in my mind, you know, like when I'm at school, always in my mind, you know, like thinking about all the time. And then when I remember within 6 months, and I was already like, because there's certain boats that you can go to like in a certain level. I was already in one of the second last boats to be on the top level boat. And I remember this time my coach at Sutton was doing the results, and was like, geez, Sibu, you're in second place. And he couldn't believe it. Like the whole school couldn't believe it. Even myself, I couldn't believe it, because I didn't even know how to count the scoring, or how the scoring works. And the next thing, I started winning the league, the mini league, like weekend after weekend. Whoever I'm sailing with, we win.
Did it just become your world? Like when you're on the ocean, when you're off the ocean, was it
That's the
total
only
immersion?
thing I could think about it.
Because you've demonstrated, you know, you go to school and you learn quickly, and you've demonstrated like incredible like speed in learning cycles. Like whatever you exposed to, you're interested in, you just like have this capacity to really.
I just got drawn in. Like, I just got drawn in and just get, like, I don't know, like I just fell in love, you know. So from there, we started competing like Durban, like Mossy Bay, all that stuff. I started seeing around, like going around the country. And in 2008, a company, like a high performance company called Race Ahead, they started going around the country looking for the top sailors that they can put them in one squad. And then there's a selection of like 3 or 4. Then there will be that solid people that will train to go to a certain event.
Training?
It was here in Granger Bay actually, in Powerboat Club, in that slot there. So I was lucky enough to be selected to be part of them. But 2008 I didn't make it. And then 2010, I remember it was a FIFA World Cup. It was in Durban. We're doing some racing in Durban, and I did very well. And my results also pushed me up also to be selected again to go in a squad. But however, the Olympic sailors were quite busy that time. They couldn't have time to look around the country. So they went overseas to London in 2012 to do their Olympic campaign. And when they came back, they were looking for someone to be a crew now, not a helm. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try that sport as well, to be a crew now, learn something different. So we had.
Will you explain the difference briefly?
So the difference, to be a skipper, you're actually driving the boat. To be a crew is actually the mind, the tactician. You the mastermind of what's happening around. You know, it's like when you get in a car and you hold the steering wheel, it's not gonna move. You need the engine to move, right? You have to start it and start going. So the crew is like the engineer of whatever's going around, and then the skipper, you holding the helm. Someone is keeping you honest all the time, but you have to be a good driver to be around that. So that's the differences between the two.
So you now transitioned.
Yeah. So I had to change around to be a crew, and I was tall enough to be in that department. And then I was sailing against top crews that the guys have been doing this thing for quite some time. And then we went, so that were 2012, and then what 2013 there was supposed to be Junior Worlds in La Rochelle in France.
That's where we started the conversation.
So I was actually, we were competing for that spot. So only one person needs to be selected to sail with one of the Olympians, the youngster. So I remember I was there day in, day out. And then I'm not saying I was lucky enough, but most of the youngsters had universities to deal with. So I didn't have that time. I had sailing to deal with. So while they were busy with university and studying, I had a chance to go and train some more, sail some more, like catch up also on them. And I remember when it was just 3 of us left, from about 16 youngsters down to 3, and I was still in there. At that time, I felt like maybe this coach feels sorry for me, or what's happening, because like these guys, I look up to them. Like actually, they most of them, they taught me like this is how you do it. Like,
Was there moments where you felt like an imposter? Like I shouldn't be here. Like
there were lots of moments were like that. And then I remember we had dinner at my coach's place in Newlands. So it was down to 2 of us when he was gonna break the news. And I knew it because the fella that was gonna sail with us for the Junior Worlds, he told me, he said, chances are you on 100% going.
it's pretty high statistic. Eh?
Yeah, so now I was the problem because he knew all the information.
Yeah.
Now there was a big problem. I was like, flip, I didn't expect this one, to be honest. Really didn't expect it because I was here to gain some knowledge from the other youngsters. When we sat there, I was like, you know what, before we even sit, let me tell my coach. And I said, I need to speak to you. He said, no. And I still had the broken English, but I explained to my friend, not my friend, to the other one, because he was closer. And I told him I don't have a birth certificate. So whatever you're planning, I can't fly. So when I told my coach, I was like, I was not even sad or...
Yeah, it was just your reality.
Yeah, just this is the problem, you know. And I didn't know he was gonna take it that harsh. Like you tend to be a lion. He was like a lion. Like he was so angry. I've never seen someone so angry. I end up crying. At some moment I wanted to cry because I've never seen him so angry. Like he was really pissed off.
What do you think he was angry about? The fact that you hadn't been recognized, the fact
that I told him at that moment.
Oh, okay.
Within 4 months to go, and then I told him that this is a situation I got. I didn't have a certificate, and then he was already getting funding, all that stuff, putting my name forward, all that stuff. And he had a plan, all this thing, like how it's gonna work out, and then I break the news to him, I didn't have a certificate.
So what happens next?
And I think we didn't end up having the dinner actually, because...
Well, it sounds a little tense.
Yeah, but however, he spoke to his dad. His dad he was, I think, an old mutual executive. And he spoke to his dad, explained the situation. And I said, okay, let's try again. Let's go back. Let's try again. Let's go to Home Affairs and try again. They went to Home Affairs. And I got called, my stepmother got called to come in as well and to find the information from my stepmom. And my dad couldn't come because he was already in the Eastern Cape. And then the story actually aligned with the story that from my grandmother when she was alive, my father trying to do it, my previous school, which was Vungu Vungu Foundation, tried to do it, even at school, so the teacher was helping me.
So they could find the paperwork and the trail of all these attempts.
Yeah, so the information was still there. So they were like, okay. They called me in, started asking me questions, where I grew up, all that stuff, and then my mother's name, all that stuff, and then everything was aligning with the story that was on the paper. And then after that, fingerprints were taken And I was like, what's
It
this
must have
for?
felt strange.
Like, yeah, it feels strange. I've never taken fingerprint before. Like, okay, put my finger there and stuff. And then I started signing some papers with the help of my coach dad now was more involved in helping me. And then my coach dad, as we walk out there, he said, that's it, it's done.
No.
You will receive your birth certificate soon. Then when I received my birth, okay, we waited for like 2 weeks because there was still more investigation going after they took my fingerprints. So we waited for like 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, I got a call from my coach. We drove through to town and got there. Here's a birth certificate. So they gave it to me, I gave it back to them, I need the ID. So
But that moment, like you receive, like, the world doesn't know who you are. I mean, here you're rising in the passion and in the thing that you found. And you're just elevating. But officially you don't exist. And then one day,
it
you
felt
exist.
fake. It felt fake. It felt like it's fake. When they gave me the birth certificate, I was like,
Didn't feel real.
It didn't feel real. I said, give my ID. I need to do an ID. They gave me the ID.
You didn't take a photo of it? You didn't take a photo of yourself with it? Nothing?
Nothing. And then that's when I received the ID, that's when I was like, actually, I don't care about flying. I don't care about going anywhere. I'm a South African citizen now. I'm being recognized. That's it. And then the same day when I got my ID, I had to wait for like a month to get the ID. We applied for the passport. And then now it was like finger crossing the passport comes on time. And then it came on time, I think a month earlier. And we did the visas for the trips. And the next thing I'm on a flight going overseas.
I mean, it must have felt completely surreal, like not
You know,
out of body experience.
like taking my passport, giving that lady at the airport and asking me a question like, where are you flying to? And saying France. And I'm like, what am I talking about here? Like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? Like it's I don't know. Like,
But look at all these intervals. I mean, you're in the Eastern Cape. You're struggling in your new life in Fishhook. You kind of trying to find the sailing. You lose the sailing. You re-find the sailing. You evolve and you find your passion and you try for the passports and it's failed. And then one day, like this whole whirlwind, it's like the storm stops. And you're sitting on the plane. Here's your document.
And we flew to like, the plane was up in the air. I was like, flip, I'm going to another world now. So I came from Eastern Cape to Massey, then from Massey to Durban in Mose Bay. Now from Mose Bay in Durban, here I am flying overseas to France.
Sure.
And then the nice thing is that the trip was for 3 months. So for 3 months I was in France, went to Southampton up in England, and then went to Wales.
And how's the English now?
English is much better.
Now you're in France though.
No. You know what was really fascinating when I got to France? Because you get all these different nations, Spanish, Italy, and Greece, all this stuff. Then I thought my English is bad. Listening to them.
It's comforting.
Yeah, it's comforting. I was like, wow, this is nice. I actually got buddies here that we're on the same page, yeah? So we understand each other quite well. So that was quite fascinating. Also to listen to all these different languages around. That was like something else, you know, like you wish you would know all these languages in one day. Just like, it's I don't know, like.
Such a revelation.
Yeah, it's quite great.
I'm going to jump forward a little bit. Cape to Rio, first one, as skipper. You've got the oldest boat in the fleet. Your system's not great, no margins. Was there a moment when you thought, oh my goodness, this is a mistake?
2018, we went to get the boat in Collins Bay. So the boat, its first attempt was early in the 1980s to do Rio, and it didn't even go out of the bay.
It's a pretty bad start.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad start, and it went to sit in Collins Bay. They put it back to life, build the mast and stuff, and it's been sitting in Collins Bay for 22 years. Just sitting there for 22 years. And then this guy donated to us, excuse me, and then these youngsters came and got the boat, and we sat around the point, Cape Point, we take it back to Cape Town. And when the engine wasn't working properly, and then the gear lever wasn't working, so you have to go inside next to the engine. You have to push the gear lever there. So imagine sitting there for a couple of hours, changing, like we're having rotation of doing that. And then the speed also on the engine is like we're going nowhere. So we left Gordons Bay around 7 a.m. We got to town around about 11 p.m. Then we got there, then finally arrived, and then the boat, then the following 2 days, we took the mast down, and we look at the mast, we're like, whoa, how did we make it with this mast? Because there were so many things could have gone wrong. Then we worked on it, and there was just so many things, like the wood is breaking, and then we keep on fixing it. And we had someone who did the hull inspection, and he said, because the aim was to do a 2020 Rio. That was the goal. And we were trying to find sponsors. And the guy who did the hull inspection said, you know what, you have to redo the whole hull, the whole bottom of the boat. And we're like, okay, at least we're going to find some sponsors. And we said, can we still sail it? He said, yeah, we can still sail it, but to do a race like Rio, you have to redo the whole bottom of the boat. And we're like, okay, cool, let's start training. Because we're looking for sponsors. If the sponsor arrives, we need to be ready. Because once we get the sponsor, and then we have the money to take the boat out, get some builders or some designers to look at it, and then they can rebuild the bottom of the boat. And then we started training. Luckily, we didn't get the sponsor.
You said something there, I'll just have to pause you a second. We have to be ready.
Yeah.
And there's a story in this book here, there's a story about black coffee. And he's in Mthatha, and he had this trauma, this where he gets forced into a drain hole, and he has this damage, becomes paralyzed on the one side, and he's like he finds the space, and the space is to, he's just practicing and he's practicing to be a DJ, but there's nothing around him, and he gets asked a question like, why are you practicing? He says, because one day I want to be ready.
Correct. I mean, like, it took us 72 months in order for us to get a sponsor. So that's 5 years.
And you were ready.
And we were ready. And the only thing we need to work on was the boat. And we knew that that's the problem was standing in our way. But when we work on this, we need to be ready. Because the boat got a sponsor within 6 months to Rio.
Who was the sponsor?
Alex Forbes.
Okay.
Alex Forbes was the sponsor. So within 6 months to Rio, that's when we got the sponsor. In order for the boat to be ready.
This is now 2023, Rio.
2023. Yeah. In order to get the boat ready and the crew ready, you need at least 2 years. So
you had 6 months.
Yeah, we had 6 months to work with it. I remember my manager coming to me and said, Sibu, we got the sponsor, but now the question is, are we going to be ready on time for the race? And I said, hey, the hard part is done. It's training, getting to know each other, and we did a lot of activities together. So now the easy part is to make sure the boat is ready. So we spent the whole 6 months, day in, day out, working on the boat, making sure it's ready for the race.
And what were you racing for?
So
at that time, 2023, what were you racing for?
Just to the finish. To us, we're not racing to win the race or to, I don't know, like we just wanted
to complete the race.
We wanted to be able to navigate ourselves and be at the finish line. That's the whole goal. That was the whole dream, that we did take part and we did reach the finish line. So that was the whole goal, nothing else.
And when you found out that you're on the podium?
I mean, like, after we had a couple of problems along the way. We had the rudder problem, we had sails breakages, we had a bit of leaks, we had oil spill, a fuel spill somewhere, we had load shedding, like there was a lot happening because the batteries die out on us. So we didn't have power for a couple of days, and we had to go back to old school where you do chart and plotter with all that stuff. And the phone was still working, the set phone was still working because the Iridium Go still had power. So we will now and then, every day, we will send the update to the race officer, and the race officer will send the update back to us. And I remember when our manager told us via sent mail, and then he said, actually, you guys got a chance to be in a podium. And we're like, no, it's not possible.
And you're just trying to get to the other side.
Yeah, we're just trying to get
We're
there.
managing all the problems and all the issues.
Yeah, and then most of us here, it's the first time, only one guy have done Rio. And then most of us here, it's never been into Rio. We doing this chart, hoping it's going to work, but we know we got the numbers right.
How old's the boat again?
The boat.
Yeah, how old is it?
It was built in 1974. I think.
Yeah, the boat that didn't leave the harbour.
Yeah.
And now you're about to podium.
Yep.
Or potentially podium.
Correct.
I mean, that's to reconcile that is just mad.
Yeah, it's madness. Eh?
Yeah.
Like, and our manager said, you guys actually are in the podium. So we're in fifth when you told us that you're gonna chance to be in the podium. And so you guys, you actually are in the podium at the moment, but it's marginal. You can drop to seventh, like just like this. And it was just, I think, just over 24 hours to the finish line. At that time, we forgot about the problems that the boat had, because we had to adjust the sail, so we minimized the problems on the boat. When we had, like, we got a chance to be in the podium, we forgot that the goal is to finish, not to be in the podium. As youngsters on the boat, we raised that sail big up again, big sails and stuff. We started hammering the boat there. We started sailing the boat hard. And then for 16 hours, like, nobody's sleeping. We're all awake.
So you're not playing not to lose now, you're playing to win.
No, we're playing
or you're
to
sailing
win.
to win, should I
Sailing
say?
to win
Rephrase it.
We even forgot that we mustn't push this boat too hard. We might break.
Forgot about that.
We forgot about that. Well, she's the old lady, you know.
Power of a goal, the power of a mission.
The goal is to win now.
Yeah.
We forgot about finishing the race, you know, and then
And
crossed
you're
the
close
line.
enough to be rescued.
Yeah. No, we crossed the line, and we had that on ORC, we in second place, and then on handicap we in third place. And then we were like, wow, this is something else. We started celebrating.
I mean, how many crew members? 5 including you or 6 including you?
5 including me. And I mean, like, we look around that, guys, this is our first Rio, and we're in the podium. We know skippers around here have been doing this for decades, and the dream is to win a podium, and we did it in one trial and win a podium.
How did you celebrate?
I do drink. I do drink. That's what I can say.
Justified for sure. So that is amazing.
Yeah.
And, like, how do you feel about yourself? You know, for so many years, the system beat you down, and then you rise above it.
I mean, like, when I look at myself, I say I'm not the only one who's facing this kind of thing.
No.
There's a couple of youngsters are facing the similar situation that I'm in. So for me, as I said, giving up is never an option. It's like you just have to stay positive. Just keep going, and then the friends that surround you as well, you need to be careful what kind of friends you're with. Because if I look back, the friends that I started with, most of them are not around. They passed away, they got stabbed, they were robbing people. So there's a lot of decisions that come with to be where you want to be. But you need to be wise about it. And then there are people who are guiding you as well. Like, what makes you happy, what benefits you in life, that's what actually you should be focusing towards. And don't think too much about the situation you're in right now, because that's what actually drives you nuts a bit. Because you end up losing control, like you end up not focusing properly. You just have to clear your mind and just accept what we have, but don't lose hope, keep pushing. That's the ultimate goal, actually.
So there's a definition of hope, and I think it's probably the strongest. And the definition of hope is different to optimism. Optimism is I'm going to believe that, or I do believe that the future is going to be amazing, and it's going to be amazing because I'm going to align my actions, my habits, and my behaviors to the reality that I want for myself. Hope is a little bit different in that hope is together we can make it better. And your journey, there were so many people who backed you. When you didn't back yourself, they were backing you. And that transported you and transformed you. And the fact that you're talking about who we hang around with, you know, the brain contains something called mirror neurons. And the mirror neurons in the brain, they're there to copy the behaviors of others.
Exactly.
And it was a survival tactic. So
and it's easy to be in that situation where you get adapted to wrong things. Like, I look at my 2 brothers. They were the closest friends that I could have, because they're the first people I met when I came to Western Cape. And I was daily, every day, like every day I see them, but like we go do things, they're always around. But I had to adapt myself from them, like, because they were starting doing things that I didn't want to do, like smoking and all, taking weed, taking drugs and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what, I'm in a wrong group. I know they're my blood, but that's not the route I want to take. Then I had to actually, like, separate myself from them. It was not an easy thing to do, because you see these people almost every day. These are your brothers, like, but now you have to move to people that you don't really know, but they're your friends. But you can't say you know them as your brothers, but you have to go to that route, like forced to go to that route, because you know this is the better way to go.
But, you know, earlier you said it was about survival, but what you're telling me now is about a dream. You had a dream.
But
You didn't know, maybe didn't know what the dream was at the time.
Exactly.
But it was for a different life. And
Change
you
the
believed in
situation
yourself.
in it. Yeah, that's what it's always about.
So now we kind of fast forward another 2 years. Day 12, Cape to Rio.
Mm-hmm.
The boom snaps.
Things started off well. And
As life does sometimes.
Yeah. And then on day 12, 11, 11, around 2 a.m. in the morning, and the boom snapped. So the boom that's what holding the mainsail that's connected to the mast, which is a standard rig. And the boom snapped. And when the boom snapped, actually, we were actually ahead. We were like, I think about a couple of hours, 6 hours, we were leading the race at the time. So right at the beginning, we were leading, and then a boat from Brazil took over, and then another boat took over, and then a boat called Veneta took over as well. And then for a couple of days, that boat was leading. And that's the fastest boat in the fleet. At that point, we're like, that's it, it's done. There's no way we're gonna be able to catch this boat. But the last thing, it goes on handicap or on ratings. So when the boom snapped, we were leading by 6 hours. And in 6 hours, over an hour can just be gone like that, depending on the boat speed. Can be like chowed like that. So the boom snapped in the middle of the night, early mornings, 2:30. And when it broke down, and the team morals just went down.
So metaphorically, someone who's not sailing, life is going well, and then you got this big obstacle and this big barrier, and you stand to lose everything. You stand to lose what you gained. You stand to lose the potential in the future.
So, like at that point, the only thing that came to the crew, it was for them to stop sailing. And I'm kind of a tough guy. I don't know. I think I got that thing in me. I will hate failing myself on something. So at that point, I was like, you guys, no, that's not going to happen.
But have you ever had an option to stop in your life?
No.
No.
I never had an option to stop.
That's why they needed you.
Yeah.
There's no option.
It's actually a good point. So as the crew came back, I could see, like, as a skipper of the boat, as a captain of the boat, to see a crew like that is actually heartbreaking. Like, after they had like this hyper and active and energetic and all that stuff, it was fun on the boat and everything was happening, and like some positive energy inside. And then this thing happened, and it just went from 100% to zero, like that, boom. And the crew came back after we'd done sorting out the boat and taking the broken boom inside and trying to make a MacGyver so the boat can keep on going. So we make a plan that the boat can keep going. Then we were able to get some kind of a mainsail working still. And the boat started moving. As soon as we were done, the crew, so we got the shift. So every 4 hours we change shifts. So 2 people go up, and then there'll be one person that will get 4 hours on himself, or on her, or on himself, like doing the whole 4 hours. But it goes around in rotation. Everyone get a chance to be on that situation. Then that time it was me and one of the ladies on the shift when the incident happened. But I think she forgot after the incident that everyone went inside, and she also followed them inside. They left me alone on the deck. I'm driving the boat, and I'm thinking, my main goal now, I wanna find a way how to bring them back to life, like how to get them going again.
So the crisis is again about people. It's not so much the incident. It's
the
about
incident is finished
how to
now.
re-inspire and re-energize and take that deflated sense that has become so pervasive on the boat and shift it as the captain in this abyss, in the ocean that is so vast.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that on the boat, you are the captain of the boat, but you don't make decisions. You make the final decision. The crew needs to come up with the. So, like I say, if you might have a problem, but if you don't have a solution to your problem, you don't have a problem then. So if there is a problem, they will take together and then they say, Captain, there's a problem, and I say, there's a solution. What's the solution? We don't know the solution. I say, okay, you guys don't have a problem, then let's keep sailing. So they need to come with a solution to the problem, and then I'll make that final decision how we're gonna do it. So I'll just put bits and pieces there, okay, this is how it should work. So when that boom incident happened and they came with the decision and the solution to say, we need to stop. And I was like, okay, they know that I need to actually back them up. And then at that point I was like it came instant. I was like, no, we're not gonna stop. We're gonna carry on sailing. And I could see two of the ladies were quite frightened, like they were quite scared. And they went inside the boat, and I could see some mumbling happening inside the boat. And I was sitting outside, like looking at the speed, boat speed, looking at the wind speed, looking at the instrument, checking the environment around, like the boat, like are we still in a game or not? And then every 4 hours you get an update on the website, and then I look at the update. Oh, we gained an hour. After all that happened, we actually gained an hour. Instead of losing the hour from that 6 hours we have now, we're 7 hours ahead. And then
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then the boat speed, we lost a bit of boat speed. But now the thing is, we're sailing slightly deeper and they're sailing a bit high. So I think that's what, if you look at the track also, we sailed the most straight line to Rio, and we had the lesser miles than anyone else on the fleet. So with the boom like breaking and not having a boom there, it made us actually think more wiser not to make any damages further. So that how do we minimize damages and actually still be in that position where we can sail the boat as if we got a boom. So and I saw that we gained 1 more hour, and that's it. That's how I'm gonna motivate my crew. So I took them back on the deck. I said, guys, listen, I agree with you guys with what you're saying. And I had my captain sitting right next to me. And he said, I still say we should drop this main. I was like, you know what, shut up. Let me talk now. You guys were mumbling inside there. Seems like we were arguing with each other instead of coming with a better solution. After I said no, we should have rethink your decision and see how can we work this out, because we still got a boat, we still got a mast, we still got a sail, because we need sail for the boat to move forward in the mast. And I said, you know what's the nice thing here, guys? From the time we thought we lost the race, we actually gained something from that. We gained more hour. From there, the whole atmosphere changed.
So basically, taking a more strategic approach had given you this advantage, and the crisis created the adaptation or the re-looking at the situation.
So the whole thing after I said that to them, the whole situation changed again. Then I had some time to rest.
Nothing motivates us like success, huh? You've got that dopamine in the system and you want more.
So I mean, like for that point, I felt like they were accepting being in a failure position. Like they accepted that immediately. They didn't think and sit down and look at the situation
through a different lens.
Yeah, they just accepted it. And then I remember sending a message to my manager, my coach. No, the manager of the team, because she was already in Rio. And I said, we have a boom breakages. And he said, what do you mean? I said, no, the boom broke down. He said, I'm not too sure. What do you mean? I was like, we have no boom. We're just sailing with the mainsail with no boom. He's like, yeah, I understand. Did you guys take it out? He said, no, it broke. Okay. And he said, okay, cool. You know what? Now, Sibu, it's not about winning the race or getting any position. It's about being at the finish line. I was like, I can't follow the same dream twice. I said, okay, guys, last time we were in the race just to finish. This time we got some very competitive sailors, came from Brazil, come from Norway, from Germany to be here. We also going to be competing for the cup. We're not just going to be taking part. Last time we were just taking part to be at the finish line, but this time around, we're going for the win also. We're going to go take part and we're going to be competitive, we're going to participate. That's the goal this time around. And I knew I didn't have a good crew this time around, because the year before I had quite a good crew on the boat. And this time I don't have a good crew. And the ladies I was sailing with, they amazed. They were like, they really amazed me out there in the ocean. Like things that they were doing, I was like, whoa, I didn't expect this. They were quite strong. It's like they were ready for this kind of situation. So yeah, when my manager called me and said, you know what, see, we just sail safe and make sure we don't break anything else. I was like, just get to Rio. That's all I'm asking for. I was like, I understand.
I got you, 100%.
Got you, eh? Got you. I said, you know what, we have a plan now, guys. If we see anything above 20 knots, we adjust the sails immediately. It's still sailable. It's still easy sailable. But now, since we have a disadvantage of the boom, I don't want to do any damages. And we realized that no matter how much you push the boat, it will still do the same speed. Only when you get certain swells, will get a bit more speed. So there's no point of pushing the boat that much. As long as you can get to that speed, once you get to that speed, try not to push it any further. It's not going to get any faster than that. That's the speed the boat is designed for. They stay with that. So then when that get into play, and then everything was just going smooth. And every day we're getting an hour and hour and hour and hour.
And the story ends with you guys winning the race.
With a day and a half. We still had a day and a half.
A day and a half, my goodness. So what did it confirm about you? What did it you've known what you're capable of your whole life. Maybe the world hadn't seen it yet. What did it confirm about South Africans? I mean, South Africans, I believe, are extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. I'm still in a situation that I hear people saying things about me, but I look at myself and say, like, whatever faces me comes in my way, I always find a way. If I tell myself, like I tell my heart that I'm positive about it, I don't allow any negative impact that comes through it. Like if I think about doing something and I stay positive about it, whatever the negative thing comes, the goal is to actually get it done, not leave it halfway. Because if you leave it halfway, the next one you're gonna leave it halfway, the next one you're gonna leave it halfway, and you're gonna have all these bits and pieces that you didn't finish. So I think what really strikes me about myself is that once I tell myself about something, I intend to finish it, no matter what situation is, what cost is. I need to finish it. I need to get to the bottom of it, get it done. I think that's the only thing that I see about myself, because I remember I get told by my general manager, said, Sibu, sometimes you scare me. I'm scared to make plans with you, because when things are going wrong, but for some reason you always worked it out, and then we always smile at the end and we always tell a story about it. Because whenever we make a plan, I make a plan with you, I get scared sometimes, because you're not the kind of person that give up. Because when I told them about the ladies team, they were like, nah, we don't think it's gonna really happen. But you can give it a try, Sibu. You can give it a try. You still got 2 years. I was like, at least I got time this time around. Last time I got 6 months to prep everything. Now I got time. So what I can say, for me, I always believe that giving up is never in my guts.
So someone who's going through, they've had obstacles and they've got barriers in their life and they've had a failure or successive failures, what advice would you give to them? I mean, the ocean is such a great metaphor. There's so little's in your control. What you had in your control is how you thought and how you processed it and how you inspired people. What would you say to them? What advice would you give them?
I'm not a guy of many words, but all I can say is that whenever you see opportunity coming your way, there's nothing wrong by saying yes. Just say yes, that's it. That's all it took to say yes in the opportunity. Because I started something and I didn't know what the heck I'm starting, what is going on here, where is it going. But it took me just a simple yes to actually get to where you're going. But hey, I'm not saying fake it until you make it. That's what I'm saying.
No, there's a saying, fake it till you become it, even better.
No, not in that way.
100%. So just to reconcile, I mean, the most spectacular victory under the most challenging of circumstances, like with this crew from disadvantaged communities, like it's a story. I mean, a story on its own. A couple of days later, the boat sinks, and you come back. You get rescued. You come back. You enter. You go to the yacht club, and you've got your team all kind of welcoming you back.
You know what's funny about that? Is that myself and the other guys were busy thinking the other team was flying, They're in first class flying over.
First class flying.
Yeah. So I mean, after a situation like that, and I think the main goal is to rebuild. That's it. Is to rebuild yourself. Is
that the message? Like what's your first message to the team? So you've won and you've lost. All in 21 days.
All in 21 days, but you have to rebuild. That's all you could do.
That's the message.
Don't throw the toys away and say that's it, it's done, and there's nothing I can do about it. You just have to rebuild. I mean, for me to lose the boat, we still have the hull of the boat at that time, and we had 250 liters of fuel on the boat, and I was like, you know what, going to Cape Town is far, because it's about 2,700 nautical miles. And then going to Rio, we're just outside 1,200 miles. You know, we're in that illusion where you think everything is possible. So when the guys came to rescue us, the cargo ship, and I was like, you know what, when I get there, I'm gonna ask for fuel and just top up the fuel, because this boat has got a rich history behind it. Like this is a history that needs to be passed on to the other generation coming through. People need to see this boat, you know. It done there was something amazing about us in the academy. All the boats that we sail on, it was the first time to Rio, and they win something and then they stay in Rio side. So I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna be consistent about losing boats now. So I'm gonna try to survive this boat. So when I got close to the cargo ship, and then this Russian chief came by, he was on top, and then they started throwing lines so that they can stabilize the boat so we can jump on the boat. And then I said to him, we just need fuel. And then he said, with the cutter, like very firm, that my instructions was to pick you up, not to give you fuel. At that time, that's when you have to decide that what's more important, is this boat or is it your crew? And at that time, I was like, you know what, the crew is actually important, because you can't replace life, you can replace the boat. So that's when I had to decide and said, you know what, I know there's something great this boat did, but there's youngsters, there's families that are waiting for them back at home. So I need to get them on a ship so that we can scatter the boat. We can buy another boat, we can build another boat similar to that. But you cannot buy another life, that's it. So that was a difficult decision to make. So I will say that we've got to learn now, we just have to rebuild.
So you know, one thing I'm thinking about is that your whole, you know, the formative years were about survival, and it was about you. If it's survival, it's about you. But at what point did you transform into it's about the other? Transform into this man of responsibility?
So it was always at the back of my mind. But you know, when you're driven and you hungry for something, and when you you want things to be done, you're like, oh, I'm not a failure. So there's always thing that I always tell myself, it's never about an I. It's a we, because we're in a team. We're a team. Don't never put yourself first. Like when you're a team, like you have to be like think about each other, like everyone else around us. So at that moment, a lot of time it was about, I need to get this boat back. I need to get this boat back. And then when it flashes, like when we came in the flesh, because we already packed our bags and all the instruments were sorted, because we were ready to climb on the ship. But when I got close to the ship, then it all switched around. I said, I need fuel. I need to save this boat. I need to save this boat. And I was like, okay, this lady can jump on the ship, and if another one wants to jump on the ship, they can jump on the ship as well. But I need to save this boat. And then I could see Ronaldo will never leave me with this boat. He will stay with me, because I know what kind of a guy he is. He kind of really believes in me, because I remember when we were in a situation and the lady was like, why you look so calm? He's like, no, Sibu's here. I'm like, why are you saying, yeah, I'm also in a situation here. I'm not 100%. We're like, where we gonna end up? And then when I thought about it, getting that 400 liters still won't get us to Rio. But now the safest place to be is to be on that ship. And the safest place for these youngsters is to be on that ship. So that's when the point you said, you look at the crew, why are you making this kind of decision? It's like, okay, you look at your crew and say, okay, what's the most important thing here? Is it this boat, or is this is it the life of these two youngsters? And then
it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
I'm going to shift the pace. We've got a couple of questions to end off, and it's the first thing that comes to mind. You know, so it's more of a rapid fire. If I were to say the ocean, one word, but it's not allowed to be beautiful.
Ocean, one word.
One word.
Life.
Life. What did your hometown give you in the Eastern Cape that sailing couldn't?
It gave me a smile, actually.
Watching the boat sink, first word.
Sorry?
The boat sink, first word.
Heartbreaking.
The person who's had the single biggest impact on your life.
It's not easy. It's not hard to think about. It's Roger Hudson, actually.
The boy walking home from Simonstown that day. What's his face doing now?
What's his face doing now? Enjoying it and I don't know, smiling.
Smiling. So the podcast is known as Shift Happens, and it has many different connotations. Transformation, life is difficult, we overcome it, we rise above it. What does Shift Happen mean to you?
Shift happened.
Shift Happens mean to you?
To me, it's about crossing from different world to another world and making an impact in your life. Because if I look at myself, I crossed so many paths, and I never look back and say, I want to go to this, but now I want to go that. I did it once when I started with sailing and I went back to soccer. Then I realized that coming from the Eastern Cape to Massey, to Summerstown, to Durban, to France, to Brazil. So I've crossed so many paths to be to change the life that I want to be one day. But at that time, I always keep my head up and say, you need to accept it to yourself, like whatever path you're facing, there will be challenges. Nobody said it's going to be easy. There will be challenges that you're going to face. It's how you go around it. And being angry and throwing stones back with, you'll find people make you that way. But sometimes you have to be nice. Sometimes you have to be nice. Like you have to respond in a nice way. I remember this one time, I found one of the youngsters coming to me crying, and I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I just didn't like it." Because we got these underprivileged youngsters, and we got these youngsters. They're black also, but they're not that underprivileged. They come from some decent families. And this youngster said, "There's an old man sitting on the couch there." He asked me where I come from. I said, "I came from sailing." Then he asked me, "Why not soccer or rugby?" And I felt a bit racist and offensive. And that's why I'm crying, but I didn't expect this at this club. And I said, "Okay, don't worry, you just never respond for it. It's okay, just show me the man." So I went back to the man. So I was like, "Hey, how am I gonna answer this guy? Because he's a bit racist. Maybe he doesn't recognize he's racist, because the old guys, they are guys like that, but they say things, but not really noticing that being racist." So I went back to the guy, and then I said, "I believe you asked this young lady something, but I think I will be the person to answer you because I run the school. So all I will ask you, all I can ask, can you please repeat what you asked the young lady so that I can answer you in a manner way?" And then it's same thing, like, "Why are we here? Like, shouldn't you be playing soccer or cricket?" And I said, "Yeah, we should be, but anyway, I think there's a calling that called us here. There's ancestors that were buried out there back in the days out in the ocean. I think it's a mothership thing that happened, but there's something that calling us to be here. We didn't choose to be here. The ancestors called us to be here. That's why we're here." And then from there, the next day the man came there. We sat down, we chatted, and then it was all smile and fun. So what I'm trying to say is, you don't have to fight things that's unnecessary, that you can actually end up giving up things. There's always a nicer way to respond. So you just find a way that you can make both parties comfortable about the situation in. You can be in a higher rate, try to calm the person down. If the person doesn't calm down, then walk away. But walking away from that person doesn't mean you're giving up on your dream. Keep on pushing on the same thing that you were doing. Find something that's going to help you. It's as simple as that.
Amazing, amazing. Sibu, what an inspiring story. So many lessons I think we can all take from it. So many metaphors that come to mind. We're very blessed to have you represent us, to do the extraordinary and keep doing the extraordinary and uplifting lives and changing lives and really making a difference in this world. And thank you for being here, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here.
From Sibusisu's story, there are three big standouts. The first is that we are not defined by where we begin. Our past does not determine our future. Our choices and actions over time do. The second is the power of goals and dreams. Having something meaningful to strive towards, I believe, is one of the most powerful resilient skills that we all possess. The third is a solutions mindset. Life is a series of challenges punctuated by windows of calm. The people who thrive are those that focus less on the problems and the issues at hand and more on the possibilities that exist between the lines. So my call to action is an exercise that I've been using for many years. And it involves writing down 3 things that we want for our life 3 times. And then saying them out loud 3 times, each item. And if we repeat this for 10 days, we might discover that what we want begins to change. Join me for the next podcast and keep shifting.
Shift Happens is a First Light and Prime Media collaboration. This episode was produced by Grant Jensen and Kaylee Cruiser and filmed by Stephen Phillipson.